Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Tyler Rugge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a really exciting video for me because I've been waiting so long for this. We're finally setting up my Retic's enclosure. I'm sorry if you can hear the cricket in the background. I think a cricket made its way into my hedgehog's cage. And Momo, you're doing a terrible job of hunting him down. Please get him. I ordered this enclosure for my Retic like 6 months ago from Animal Plastics, and it was just like delayed a ton, and it was supposed to be done a few months ago, and it just took forever, but it finally arrived, and I'm super excited to show it to you guys and set it up and put my Retic in it because my Retic is getting pretty big. They grow kind of fast. My Retic's name is Solomon. He is a dwarf retic that I got from Reach Out Reptiles. Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles is an amazing dwarf and super dwarf retic breeder. Very trustworthy. I would definitely recommend checking him out. I will put his Instagram at here if you guys want to check him out. I would definitely recommend going to him if you want a dwarf or a super dwarf. So my Retic is a dwarf. So basically what that means is he's not going to get as big full grown as a regular retic would. However, he's still going to get pretty decent in size. Solomon is going to be a big boy, so he needed a big boy enclosure. So this is, I believe, the Animal Plastics T25 enclosure, and I have sliding glass doors in the front, which I will be adding a lock to, of course, because I do not trust any of my animals. None of them can be trusted. So I need to lock this because the sliding doors plus the snake, I don't know if they could open it, but I don't trust it. I also had them include a basking shelf, which I mounted on the back, and the basking shelf goes across the entire back of the enclosure, and I just thought that would be really awesome for Solomon to have an extra area to kind of climb on that was really secure. This did not come assembled, so I had to put it together. It wasn't that hard. It was basically just screwing all the different panels together. For the heat source on this enclosure, I am using a Pro Heat panel. So a heat panel is a panel that goes on the top of the enclosure on whichever side you want to be the warm side. It works very similarly to like a ceramic heat emitter. It's all infrared heat, so it doesn't produce any sort of light. And the heat just kind of radiates down, and it's going to not only increase the ambient air temperature, but it's also going to increase the temperature of the ground. So snakes need belly heat. I know some people are probably gonna be like, Tyler, don't you need to use a heat pad? But for a really big snake and a really big enclosure like this, a lot of people go with heat panels just because it kind of raises the temperature of the entire enclosure. Plus it does heat up the ground, so your snake is still gonna lay on the ground and get its belly heat from it being heated up by the panel. What's also nice about the heat panel, as opposed to like a ceramic heat emitter, is it's not super hot to the touch. Like you can press your hand up against it and the surface is still pretty hot, but it's not gonna like burn your hand right away. So that's really nice because obviously if your snake like rubs up against it or touches it or anything, you don't have to worry about it burning your snake. So this is a really popular choice for a lot of snake keepers. A lot of people really love the heat panels and swear by them. I do have the heat panel hooked up to a thermostat. They are designed to be used in conjunction with a thermostat because the heat still needs to be regulated. Otherwise, it could get too hot for whatever species you're keeping. So I'm using a Vivarium electronics thermostat. They're super nice thermostats. I would highly recommend them. I want to do a video where I go into detail about these thermostats, but basically all you need to know is they're great and I recommend them. And if you would like to get one, I would highly recommend getting them from Josh's Frogs. That's where I got mine. And if you use code Tyler Rugge on the Josh's Frogs website, you can get 15% off anything on their website. So please use my code and get 15% off of your thermostats or whatever else you may need. And let's get started on setting it up for him. So first we're gonna put the bedding in the enclosure, and I'm gonna use the Zoomed forest floor bedding. I'm gonna go ahead and put the water dish in. The water dish I actually got from Josh's Frogs as well, and it's a really nice size. And then I'm just going to put a couple small pieces of wood in there just so Solomon has a few extra things to kind of climb on. Providing enrichment for animals is really important. However, it's really difficult to do for really large snakes like retics because when they get to a certain size, they're just going to knock everything over, and it's just like you can't really put a whole lot in their enclosures because of how big they get. I'm actually not going to put a hide in Solomon's enclosure. Most people actually don't use hides with retics. They genuinely don't really use hides very much, even if you give it to them. Like when I first got Solomon, I gave him a little hide just so he would have a secure place to go to as he adjusts to his new enclosure, and he literally never used the hide. He would always hang out on top of the hide or next to the hide. Like, he just never used it. I just wanted to explain that in case there's anyone watching who maybe doesn't have experience with retics, and you might just keep other snakes and be like, Tyler, he needs a hide. Like, what the heck are you doing? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed checking out my Retic's new enclosure. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, I post videos every week. Also, don't forget to check out my social media and my vlog channel. Those will be linked down in the description below. And I will see you guys in my next video.